Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the back nine of my casual round at Baker Park in Kewanee, Illinois. The front nine, as you may have seen, was not my best nine that I've ever played. I had some missed putts, some bad rollaways. I was forced to play from off the fairway a lot, and I'm looking to play cleaner golf here in the back nine. As you can see, I'm 6 strokes off my pace set in September. This is my Exosoft tactic. I leave it just the tiniest bit wide and it catches the last tree. At only 200 feet, you really want to get this one, but I came up pretty short. The kickback to the rough was also not helpful. So here I am with about 12 trees between me and the basket. I decided to go turbo, which was a terrible idea. I advanced about 10 feet at most. Thankfully, I have an open look here at the par. It's about 30 feet, but a nice confident putt for the par. It feels good to make that putt, but at the same time, I wished it was a birdie. So going into hole number 11, I lost one more stroke to my past self, and this hole is probably the coolest hole on the course, or one of the cooler holes. It's got a very protected green, definitely a sidearm friendly hole. When I first played this, I played skip shots, and I decided to go air shot with a 13 speed on a 250 foot hole, and that was just not a great shot. So I'm deep, but I'm going to show you my friend's drive here. He gets a perfect flex shot that skips right, and as you'll see here in a second, he's parked for the birdie. That was a sick shot. Props to him. My lie is not so great. I'm about 70 feet away in very thick rough with about 5 trees between me and the basket. This is my wedge. Put it on an Anheuser. Very lofty bid. Drops in the basket, and I was stoked for that. Very epic way to get my first birdie of the round. Unfortunately, it took so long. You can see it just beautifully flexing through the trees, nose up. I highly recommend getting a disc like the wedge where it's understable with a lot of glide. Slower disc, it'll really help your game, especially your scramble game. So going into hole 12, I tied that hole with my past self, so I'm still, I believe, 7 strokes down. This one I played a little wider than I wanted and a little higher. I needed to push straighter to get closer to the basket. This is about a 55-foot look for the birdie. I've been working on my step putt, and at times it's felt like it's very on. That was very close, but I didn't give it enough of a chance. So I tapped that par in, and I'm moving on. So I was a little bit frustrated. I've been parring holes that I should be birdieing, or I feel like I should be birdieing, and that's not exactly how I want to be playing. So I'm a little frustrated at this point. I'm deciding to just go for it all. This is my 12-time T-bird. Hyzer flip it to perfection. It glides a little bit right, fades just at the end, and slides forward to just inside the circle. This is a really hard hole to get with the backhand, and I do not have a 330-foot forehand just yet, so having the ability to hyzer flip that disc was pretty sweet. Edge of circle putt, nail it for the birdie. At this point, I feel like I'm waving to the invisible audience. At this point, I feel like I'm starting to put some birdies together, and it's kind of improved my confidence a little bit. And I actually gained a stroke on my previous self to make it a 7-stroke game, I guess you could say, again. So this is a pretty easy par 4. I am deciding that I'm going to try to get it all in one. And I just throw that one really tight, and you can see it kick off the tree and go way left onto the road. You might be able to hear my frustration. I was not happy with that. So this is my champion Shrike. I like the line, but I do not like the tree. Thankfully, I'm not in the road. But I'm not comfortable going forehand on this hole. And I go deep. I'm now putting for bogey from about 25 feet in the rough, straddling out. I don't give it enough of a chance, and this is a little bit of a meltdown for me. I was struggling with how I was playing. Go ahead and tap this one in for my double bogey, and I think with that I lost about 3 strokes to my previous tournament self. So going into hole number 16, now 15, going into hole number 15, my bad. This is a pretty tough hole to get. You've got that very tight window directly in front of the tee pad, but you have to go over a road which plays as OB. So it's an island green, and those trees hang over the road. I throw my Gateway Assassin, which has been my hyzer flip sidearm disc, and I hit the gap. I was just going for the green, going for it all, having a little bit of a frustrating round. I was like, why not? So here I am in an awkward position. I barely missed to the right side of the basket. At this point, I'm probably pretty close to being mentally done with the round, where mistakes like that don't faze me as much because, I'm expecting them to happen. So taking a par there wasn't terrible, but I really wanted that birdie because of the super aggressive move I took. So this hole is a very soft par 4. You want to go straight up the middle, which is not what I did. Land at the foot of the hill, and then have a look up the hill to the basket. I'm going to go aggressive for the green here because it's such a soft par 4. I feel like if I can just advance maybe 20 feet beyond those trees, I'll be able to step out and make a look. So I just missed my line. I did not go through the trees. I thought I put myself in a decent spot, but as you can see, there are about 4 trees in my way. I go pretty wide and hyzer, and again, guys, most valuable disc in my bag at this point, I think, is that wedge. It makes so many good things happen for me. Definitely get one of those. Do yourself a favor. So, tapping in my par, I did gain a stroke on previous me, but it's not enough. I am kind of stinking it up, not doing as well as I feel like I should. So going into hole number 17, you have a sucker gap here, which I wouldn't take. I usually go over the road. There's less to kick you into the hill jail. So here I am going over the road. Very smooth release. I was very happy with that shot. It skips and parks itself at the basket. So it's been a tough round for me. I think that it's hard for me to accept that growth does not always correlate to higher score or lower scores and higher round ratings. That I learned to accept that growth is not a direct line in that regard. I did attempt some shots that I never would have attempted in the tournament, not just because I wouldn't have attempted it, but because I didn't have them in my bag. I didn't have them in my arsenal. And so I think just having those new shots in my arsenal is a sign of growth for me, and it's something that I'm happy that I have. So even though I played much below what my expectation is, I'm still happy that I feel like my sidearm's improving, my putting is coming along. I have new discs that I'm putting with. So despite my struggles, I can still see growth, and I think that's what we all need to focus on, is when we feel like we're struggling, focus on the things that you see are improvements in your game. So I definitely did not play as well as I wanted to, but definitely go play Baker Park if you get the chance. So I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Stay tuned for future videos, hopefully tournament rounds in the future, and I will see you guys next time.